Jennifer Lawrence, known for her candid charm and down-to-earth persona, shocked audiences recently when she walked off The Late Show with Stephen Colbert during what should have been a light-hearted interview. The evening had started off well, with Jennifer arriving on set in high spirits, joking with Colbert and the audience. She looked radiant, laughing and sipping her signature white wine. But as the conversation took an unexpected turn, viewers watched the mood shift quickly from playful to tense. Something in Colbert's tone, or perhaps his persistence on a topic, began to agitate the normally cheerful actress, and from there, the clash only escalated. The moment things started to turn was subtle. Colbert brought up her controversial remarks from a recent political panel, asking her pointedly if she still stood by her opinion. Jennifer, visibly caught off guard, attempted to deflect with humor. "I thought we were here to talk about my movie, not get me cancelled," she joked with a strained smile. But Colbert didn't let it go. He pressed again, quoting her past statements and inviting her to clarify for America. Jennifer's posture stiffened. She paused before replying, "I've clarified it already. I don't owe anyone an apology for caring about real issues." The tension became undeniable. The audience, unsure whether this was part of a scripted exchange, laughed awkwardly. But Jennifer was no longer smiling. She leaned forward and said, "Stephen, I came here because I respect this show, but if you're going to grill me like I'm on trial, we might as well cancel the rest of the interview." Colbert, trying to recover, chuckled and said, "Just trying to do my job." Jennifer replied sharply, "Your job shouldn't be trying to make your guest look bad." That drew gasps from the crowd, and the producers could be seen exchanging glances off stage. Colbert attempted to shift gears by asking about her recent role in an upcoming psychological thriller, but the damage had already been done. Jennifer answered curtly, with short phrases that didn't offer much for Colbert to work with. The natural back and forth had disappeared. It felt less like a conversation and more like a standoff. And then Colbert said something that pushed it all over the edge. "You know, some people say you've become harder to interview lately, more defensive." Jennifer blinked slowly, then let out a dry laugh. Defensive, or just tired of being reduced to sound bites and scandals? The studio grew uncomfortably silent. Jennifer placed her wineglass down slowly. "I'm not here for this," she said. "I've done too many interviews where I've smiled through the BS. Tonight, I just can't." Colbert looked taken aback, muttering, "I didn't mean to upset you." But Jennifer was already removing her microphone. "It's not about being upset," she said. "It's about respect, and I'm not feeling much of it right now." She stood up, fixed her dress, and began walking toward the side of the stage. The audience was stunned, some unsure if it was part of a stunt, others beginning to clap in support. As she disappeared behind the curtain, Colbert tried to recover. "Well, folks, that was unexpected," he said, forcing a chuckle. "Jennifer Lawrence, everyone, a powerful presence, whether she's coming or going." But the humor didn't land. The room's energy had taken a nosedive. A few audience members booed lightly, while others just sat silently. Colbert sipped from his mug, glancing at the off-camera crew for direction. The live feed quickly cut to a pre-recorded sketch, but it was too late. The footage of Jennifer's walk-off had already been clipped and uploaded by viewers on their phones. Within minutes, social media erupted. Hashtags like Neku Jennifer Walks and Nira Colbert Clash were trending on X and Instagram. Clips were shared across platforms, with fans and critics offering their takes. Some defended Jennifer, praising her for not tolerating what they saw as a disrespectful line of questioning. Others criticized her for being overly sensitive, claiming she couldn't take the heat of her own opinions. The divide was sharp, and the debate only fueled the video's reach. Millions watched it within the first few hours, turning the interview into one of the most controversial talk show moments in recent years. Celebrities soon weighed in. Actresses like Florence Pugh and Emma Stone posted vague yet supportive messages on their stories, quoting things like, "Protect your peace" and "Know your worth." Meanwhile, some late-night comedians took jabs, teasing the moment in their monologues. But the most notable reaction came from Jennifer's publicist, who issued a brief statement. Jennifer stands by her decision to walk away from an environment where she felt her voice was being manipulated, not heard. That statement did little to calm the storm. It added more fuel to an already raging fire. Colbert's team issued a response the next morning. It was a carefully worded note claiming the interview was never meant to provoke or ambush Jennifer, and that the team had deep respect for her work and her voice. But fans weren't buying it. Comment sections flooded with comparisons to other interviews where guests had been cornered or talked down to. For many, the incident became symbolic of how the media sometimes crosses boundaries in the name of entertainment, forgetting that celebrities are human too. In the days that followed, Jennifer kept a low profile. She cancelled 2 more scheduled interviews, citing personal reasons, but insiders suggested she was re-evaluating how she engaged with press altogether. Paparazzi caught glimpses of her in New York City, looking calm but guarded. Friends close to her said she had no regrets. She felt like she needed to stand up for herself. One source told a gossip outlet she wasn't going to play the game anymore. That sentiment resonated deeply with her fans, many of whom felt empowered by her refusal to be silenced or shamed. Meanwhile, Colbert's show faced backlash. Viewership dipped slightly in the week following the incident, and producers reportedly held meetings to reassess interview formats. Internally, there were whispers about tension among staff over how the segment was handled. One anonymous employee told a media blog, "Everyone knew that topic was sensitive, but it got greenlit. Anyway, it backfired. For a show that prided itself on intelligence and wit, the moment felt like a stain, proof that even seasoned hosts can miscalculate." Online culture critics began dissecting the moment from every angle. Some framed it as a feminist statement, Jennifer, rejecting the combative narrative often imposed on outspoken women. Others said it was a PR move, perhaps even orchestrated to give her the upper hand. But most agreed on one thing: it didn't feel fake. The emotion, the discomfort, the refusal to continue, it was all too real. And in a world increasingly saturated with scripted drama, that authenticity, however messy, stood out. As the buzz wore on, Jennifer posted a rare personal message on her Instagram, a simple photo of her dog with the caption, "Some things are more important than headlines." Fans interpreted it as a soft return, a way of saying she was fine and moving on. Comments flooded in, support, encouragement, admiration. "You did the right thing," one wrote. "They forget you're a person first, not a soundbite." The message was shared across fan pages and even news outlets, showing just how much power she held, even in silence. Industry professionals began to reconsider their approach. One popular podcast shifted its interview model to pre-approved topic lists. Another talk show issued new guidelines to avoid crossing personal boundaries. Whether directly caused by Jennifer's walkout or simply catalyzed by the conversation it sparked, change was happening. She had, without intending to, created a ripple effect, demanding more humanity in a space that often thrives on provocation. Months passed, and Jennifer eventually resumed public appearances. She spoke at a women's summit, where she subtly referenced the incident. "Sometimes the hardest thing is knowing when to leave, but walking away can be an act of strength, not weakness." The applause was deafening. She didn't name names, but everyone knew what she meant. The event was broadcast widely, and once again she was praised for her poise, clarity, and authenticity. Her reputation not only recovered, it evolved. Colbert, for his part, has never directly addressed the moment again. Some believe it was an editorial decision to let the story fade. Others think he genuinely regretted how it unfolded and wanted to move on without reliving it. Either way, the silence was noticeable. He continued to host, joke, and interview, but that incident lingered as a reminder. Not all clashes are loud. Some happen in the quiet tension between two people who simply stop trusting the conversation. In the end, Jennifer's walkout became a defining moment, not because it was scandalous, but because it was real. In a media world full of fake laughs and edited scripts, she chose honesty. It may not have been smooth, and it certainly wasn't scripted, but it was powerful. She reminded everyone that dignity doesn't have to shout. It can stand up, set down a mic, and walk out when enough is enough. And for that, millions didn't just applaud, they listened.